Hello. There you are. Good morning, Facebook. This is Shawn P. Greene. I'm doing a thing called the Shawn P. Greene Show. Just testing it out, trying it out on multiple platforms. I'm videotaping myself on a cell phone. I'm live on Facebook right now, and I'm about to go live on YouTube. So all that is YouTube platforms. I'm sorry, Shawn P. Greene platforms. If you don't know what it is, you're missing out. I'm trying to figure out how to set this up so I can talk about stuff without holding it. I do have something that can hold it. So just give me a second here. I'm on Facebook Live right now. You could always go and see other broadcast versions of what I'm doing on my YouTube page, but pretty much everything is on ShawnPGreene.wordpress.com. All right, so now I'm going to go live using a other platform called StreamYard as well. So, good morning, everybody. Facebook. I'm testing out this platform, and I'm hoping that it's going to go as well as I was expecting it. All right, I am live on my YouTube page, man. I'm having some technical difficulties. Forgive me. So here I am on multiple camera sources. Got 3 cameras running on me. Sorry, Facebook. Facebook's having some issues. See, I got this cell phone I'm running here. All right, here we are. Hopefully this is it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about a couple things. I do have some news that kind of happened over the weekend for us Buffalo Bills fans. If you are not a Bills fan, it's not for you. But, we won. Okay, it was the Washington Redskins, which is, has been a subpar team this year. But on the other hand, we have the New England Patriots who lost. So now we're only a game behind them. So we're kind of Buffalo Bills fans, or what we call ourselves, Bills Mafia. You'll see hashtags all over the internet called Bills Mafia. So you got to check that out. So the Bills Mafia is very happy. Although Frank Gore, who I kind of nicknamed global warming because it sounds like Al Gore to me. It's kind of funny. Frank Gore, one of the top rushers of the NFL, so of all time. Number 4, as a matter of fact, I think. And he's getting close to Barry Sanders within 100 yards of breaking his all-time record. That's 3. Third place all time. That's great. But Buffalo Bills, we won. We're 6-2. Patriots, they lost. Thank you, Baltimore Ravens. We do have to, we do have to play the Ravens. We're playing the whole NFC Central, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns. They're all coming up, and we've already beat the Bengals, so that's not a bad thing. As far as the Bills go, right now we're all healthy. Devin Singletary is right now is rocking and rolling, man. We're excited about that. So I do have fantasy sports that I play, and football has always been my favorite. And since 1998, 99, when I discovered the internet, I was kind of a late bloomer. I started doing all these fantasy teams and started creating leagues, and now, this year I got seven different leagues, and it looks like I'm running all 7 of those. But I love fantasy sports too, so that's something I've been doing on the side. I do a lot of stuff, man. Look at my little setup in the back. I was in Florida for 12 years, and so some people know that Florida's big in football, sports, and so on. And looking behind me, I'm actually a fan of the Georgia Bulldogs. That's correct, the Georgia Bulldogs. Sorry, guys. I was kind of happy the Bulldogs they beat the Gators. The Gators are, I would say if my Florida college team would be the Gators if I did not go to the University of South Florida back in 2000. So I'm a Florida Bowl alum, even though I didn't complete the program down there. I'm now a University at Buffalo alum, or no, current student, which is also a bowl. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm USF. I would say I would support them every time, and I think University at Buffalo played them within the last couple years, and I think we beat them up here in Buffalo. So our team is kind of like on the fringe as well. So we'll see how that goes. We're 5-4 as a college team, and we're bowl eligible with one more win. So that's a good thing. As far as other sports, the Washington Nationals, they won the championship. I was actually going for the Houston Astros, but that didn't happen, and no big deal. Not really a big, huge baseball fan, but I still do participate in fantasy sports. As far as hockey goes, just starting the season, the Buffalo Sabres are doing great. We lost the last 3 in a row, though, so that's something that we're kind of like, kind of iffy about the way we started last year. We were number 1 almost through November, and then we just slumped and never made the playoffs again. So, come on, Sabres, let's do this thing. So, let's shout out for them Sabres, man. Let's make sure we root for our home team. For anybody that's not listening or does not subscribe to hockey or Buffalo sports, just stay tuned. We got a couple of things I want to talk about. And what else do we have? See, basketball, Buffalo, we lost our basketball team in the 70s. They're now called the Los Angeles Clippers instead of the Buffalo Bruins, or Buffalo Braves, I'm sorry. So, hey, it is what it is. We kind of supported Toronto Raptors last year when they won their championship. So that's the closest team we have to being local. And with around the corner, actually tomorrow, is the day to vote. Okay, you got to vote. It's primaries for certain local, wherever you live, your local governments, and some are statewide, some of are just regionally relevant. So make sure you vote tomorrow. I think they had some early voting in the state of New York, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's everywhere else, but you have the opportunity to voice your opinion through voting. That's one way of doing it. The other way is doing it is protesting, but I do not recommend rioting. Something that is very much frowned upon, in my opinion. Rioting does not solve any problems. It doesn't. It just creates more problems. And you do what you got to do, man. But try to keep it peaceful. Whatever it is that you stand for, do it in a peaceful way. Don't harm other people to prove your point, and just stay connected to the human race in a good, kind way, if you could. So, anyway, I do want to just bring up one thing. It's not really a big, huge news point, but while watching the football game last night, they were introducing some of the players. Somebody had posted a video clip of one of the players announcing themselves. And let me just see if I could find the who it was. Okay, Matthew Judon, Matthew Judon from the Baltimore Ravens. He announced himself as, you know how they say, Michael Juden, you know, whatever college you went to. He actually says, body built by Taco Bell. That's hilarious. I think I reposted on my Facebook page. But that's it just got me, you know what I mean? LOL, as the kids say. So I thought that was a funny point, and I watched a couple other clips of other things. But the one thing that got my attention was Patricia Heaton. She had, she had guest starred as probably a month ago now, over a month ago, as as a guest on late night or late show with Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert is, I don't think he's the greatest talk show host. He's not the worst, but he's not my favorite. But he does have some cool guests and some commentary that's funny. But in my opinion, all these political things, sometimes they're just not funny. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, whether you're for Trump, for Obama, against everybody, it doesn't matter. Some of these political things they're not really that funny. I was once a guest, not a guest. I was once a audience member of the Late Show when David Letterman had the realm back in, I don't know, it was about over 10 years ago maybe. And they have these applaud signs that make you cheer for things, and sometimes the producers, they have their agenda as far as what they want you to applaud for, and the writers have to write clever jokes, and the host has to deliver the cleverness of that joke so that people could try to show their opinion as positive or negative toward a certain candidate or whatever. Usually it's just for joke's sake, but not always is it for joke's sake. Sometimes it's for political agenda's sake. So anyways, I don't have anything else beyond that to say about it, but Stephen Colbert had Patricia Heaton on his show just recently, and Patricia Heaton is pretty cool. She's been around on television since early 2000s. If I can't, I gotta check her stats real quick. Oh, I don't have it up. Well, anyways, she's been around for a long time. Everyone Loves Raymond. She was a guest. She was a star. She was the mother of the children, the wife of Raymond. Patricia Heaton was hilarious. She delivered her own style of comedy, and not just supplemented or complimented Ray Romano, but was actually a viable part of that comedy team. I think they all played a great part, 5 of them that stood out on that show. And Patricia has done Malcolm in the Middle. Or, no, I'm sorry, not Malcolm in the Middle. It's just The Middle, right? You can chime in anytime. You can chat with me. The Middle. It was The Middle. My bad. Otherwise, we would get into the other stars. I don't want to step on their toes. So anyways, Patricia Heaton was a guest star, and she is a devout Catholic. She was not shy in speaking about her faith, and was, incidentally enough, talking about sports, was a Cleveland native whose father was a writer for the Cleveland Plain Dealer. I never heard of that publication, but apparently her father wrote for this publication for the last 50 years, or for 50 years anyways. And but yeah, she was a Catholic. She joked about how being a Browns fan is similar to being Catholic, where it's almost like punishment. She quotes that saying, "It builds character, to follow the Browns. Suffering, it goes with the Catholicism." I thought that was hilarious. I've never been like a Browns fan, so to speak. I did like Ozzie Newsome back in the day when he was a receiver for the team. But I can't ever say I've ever followed the Browns, so much to the point where it mattered to me if they won or not. My teams were the Bills, the Chargers, and ultimately when I moved to Florida in the Tampa Bay area, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, anyways, Patricia, she did shout out God in her interview. I do have a link to that on my Facebook page about the article, and I kind of wrote an article about that on my WordPress. I'm sorry, my the God Chaser, Great Lakes Christian Film Festival website. So I do have that link on my Facebook page, and that's Shawn Patrick Greene if you're looking for it. At any rate, the biggest thing that was got my attention was that she has been sober for 14 months, and that she was kind of bragging about that. So it'll be 15 now, I believe, if it goes back a little bit. So if she continues her sobriety, I really want to applaud her for that. But throughout this whole interview, she was just shouting out God and how her faith and her belief in God and all that stuff is much more important than her her career. She actually went to a missions trip before she even started her Hollywood career in Los Angeles, before returning and actually getting into the industry. But she did a lot of plays. She was Ohio State University grad and did some plays and stuff. Went to New York, did some more acting classes, and but yeah, she's a woman of God that believes in God, and I thought it was kind of cool that she does not hide that. Now, Stephen Colbert doesn't hide that fact that he is a Catholic and he believes in God and all that stuff, and he has faith, Christian faith. So, not to put down anybody from any other belief systems or thinking. I believe a little bit beyond the Catholic faith on the Protestant side, and of course I'm a Bills fan too. So me and her probably have a long conversation about faith and football if we did sit down ever. Hopefully I could. You never know. But at this point, she's I'm just gonna give her a shout out for that. But you can go ahead and check out that article, ShawnPGreene.wordpress.com. Go to my Facebook, YouTube. Right now I'm live on my YouTube page as well, kind of showing the screenshots of all these things I was talking about, and especially that one. I thought that was hilarious. Body by Taco Bell. Keep that in your back pocket for a friend family gathering or something. The other thing is, last couple weeks, it's been a big deal that Kanye West has been, kind of like a big, huge story, in the, not necessarily in the the Christian, somewhat the Christian hip hop world, I would say, but in the music industry as a whole, this whole Jesus is King album that he's released. There's a lot of people who are skeptical. There's a lot of people who are on the fence about what if they will support Kanye West's album. They're kind of like not sure if Kanye's legitimate or if he's just doing a money grab. I mean, his whole career, it seems like everything he's done was just to be controversial, and rightfully so. People will be skeptical. I'd be skeptical too if Kanye was just doing this as a joke. But listening to the album, listening to his interviews, I do not believe that Kanye is lacking authenticity in his belief. I believe truly, and I don't know him personally, but judging by the fruit and what he's doing and the process of taking his music doing the Sunday services that he does in different cities, that this is not a money grab, but this is an opportunity for him to finally break out of his music industry role and actually worship God and serve God. So I believe what he's doing is authentic. You know, I believe what he's doing is trying to share his love and affection for Christ, Jesus Christ, and serve God with all his heart, all his soul, all his mind, all his strength. I mean, what did Jesus say? To sell all that you have and follow him. I think by him throwing in the towel with doing a complete gospel album is a sign of throwing it all in, you know, and following Christ. So the thing is, this album is a #1 Billboard charting album. So did he lose anything? Of course not. In the world sense, no, he hasn't lost anything. I think his sales, his popularity, and everything won't change. Being popular doesn't necessarily mean being liked. For instance, I mean, him wearing a MAGA hat triggered a lot of people that dislike Donald Trump and his agenda. And so a lot of people that were thinking like that were not in favor of Kanye doing anything anymore because they supported Donald Trump. So that's kind of a shame, in my opinion. You know, whether you like Donald or not, I'm not going to argue that point right now. That's just not that's not this platform. You know, we could talk about politics, instant message me, side note if you want. That's fine. We could talk all day. But at the end of the day, I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm all for, you know, making sure our citizens live in peace and safety. I'm a U.S. veteran, U.S. Navy, so there are some core beliefs that I have that are going to be consistent with, you know, faith, you know, God and country, and so on and so forth. So we'll just stop right there for now. But let's just talk about Kanye for a second. I listened to the whole album, Jesus King, and I have to say this album to me is, I'm not going to say production value is high. It's not super high. I've heard a lot of Christian hip hop albums that have way better production, way better sound, but yet less authenticity of faith. Does that sound that okay? It's, you know, it's storytelling for some Christian hip hop artists. It's not about their faith, so to speak. Although there might be some, you know, areas in their music that they'll have faith in it, but for the most part, most of the songs on this album are all about God, Christ, lifting the name of God and Christ up the whole album. So there's nothing missing when it comes to this kind of gospel or Christian hip hop or any other genre that's similar to that. Christian rhythmic, I like to call it. So, man, this is in your face, point blank Christian content. Okay, it's a gospel album. It's a Christian hip hop album. It's authentic. I believe it's not something that's just made up to make some sales. He brought together people. He goes to different venues now and events that he creates and has altar calls at it. I mean, this is very similar to what has been going on. If anybody knows anything about the Christian world, and if you don't, I'll explain a little bit. In Redding, California, there's a church called Bethel Church, and Pastor Johnson runs the show. His son Brian runs the worship, and from the Bethel Church was birthed this the evangelistic music group called Jesus Culture. Some people know Kim Walker-Smith, a very popular singer for that group. She does a lot on her own too, as well as far as singles. But they have probably been the catalyst for over a decade of what Christian or gospel, I wouldn't even say gospel, but Christian worship can do in an arena in a way that is not done at even a local church. They just focus on the worship aspect of it. At the end of it, they offer salvation. It's not as prevalent as, some churches. Like some churches I'll go to will never ever have some sort of altar call. I'm talking Protestant now. So some churches will be nothing but worship. Some churches will be nothing but talk. And then some churches will be nothing but just soaking in the presence of God, so to speak. So every church has its own personalities, and it's really, in my opinion, there's really no set way to do something. And Kanye has definitely done that. He's done it the way he is experiencing God, and not the way a church or a denomination or a system of how to be religious has shown him what to do. He just kind of goes with the Spirit, Some might argue what spirit that is. I'm going to say, I believe that he is learning just as Paul was learning after Paul was, killing Christians. He had the encounter with Christ, and then he started his new journey kind of raw, like, okay, now what do I do? How do I do this Jesus stuff? I've never seen him create these miracles. All these apostles or disciples, they know all about this stuff. I don't really know about this stuff. I'm just going to do what I know what to do. He writes all these letters to a bunch of just churches that are building around, the Mediterranean, and, goes around and does what he feels God is showing him what to do. The Bible says the Holy Spirit taught him, all things. So, who's to say Kanye's not being led by the Holy Spirit or being taught by the Holy Spirit on how to conduct things? He doesn't conform to any system. He's never has. And as a result, his, I believe, a radical conviction to be a Christian, blatantly, not hiding, is important. And so he's doing what he feels is authentic. So that's just my take on it. So you guys can discuss. You can make some comments. You can give me some insight on the Facebook page. Like I said, I'm also on the YouTube page. Recording it for uploads for other platforms as well. So any questions, any comments, please, give me a topic if you'd like to talk about something. I'd love to share it. It could be sports, could be entertainment, it could be, how's your grandma? Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here for you. So, what else? What else is up that's been happening lately? Up here we've had in Buffalo, anyways, parts of the Northeast, anyways, we've had this weather that's blowing stuff all over the place. And it seems like every time this year we have that. We have one of those really, long wind storms that last at least 24 hours. Knocking down trees, knocking into houses. We got a lot of cleanup going on. We've had some power outages here. And I'm not complaining, and I know a lot of people out in California who are enduring much worse than we are. So shout out to everybody in California and the fires. I know what it's like. I've lived out there 4 years, and I've seen the effects that fire can do to the dry environment that's out there. Um, I wish it would rain more, out there, because I would definitely try to come back out there. It's just expensive, man. Shoot, so expensive out there. I'm here in Buffalo, New York, if anybody's wondering, Western New York, and much cheaper to live here than downstate New York. Even I lived in Orange County in Middletown, which is about 50 miles from New York City. Spent a lot of time in the Bronx. Spent some time in Brooklyn and all along the Hudson River. I did. I was a district manager for a place called Picture Me Portrait Studio, which was inside the Walmarts. I did that for a year, and it was the lower Hudson Valley, and drove all over that area. I loved it. I loved the southern part of New York State, southeast, and right before New York City. But even that place, it got real expensive. And 10 years ago, houses were going for $500,000 that were, for in this area, would be, $100,000, or less, 200 or less at least. So I got to get, back situated here in Buffalo, and I'm real comfortable here. I don't know what it is. I bought this house. It's not much of a set right now. Doesn't look like much, but I'm working on it. So I'm just playing around with some background images and toys and all that stuff, and we'll get to that. We'll dress it up a little bit better as I go along. But this is just for anybody's watching. I see my mother, and I think that guy is that Sammy? I think Sammy, Ohio. Anyways, this is my first broadcast right now. I'm building this studio at the home, and I'm working on doing some more things like this. So maybe a morning show a couple times a week, who knows? But this has been something I've been planning for a long time, and finally just getting to it and just jumping in and worrying about the details later. And so just keep it locked here. We're going to do some interviews with some people eventually. I have several other platforms that I can post to, and I want to try to keep it simple and to the point as much as I can. But I do have too many platforms too many options that I could broadcast this to. So I want to narrow it down to a place, possibly this Facebook page, my YouTube channel especially, where everybody can just go to one spot and that's where it is. But right now at this point, ShawnPGreene.wordpress.com. I do have a post from an accident that happened, a couple different incidences that happened here right where I live in this area, South Buffalo. You can check that out at that blog. I've also got stuff like top tens, and I'm a Star Wars fan, I'm a football fan, so I've had some topics about that, some other incidences in South Buffalo over the years. And that's about it. I mean, anything else that you like to chat about, I'm all about, God, family, country, and sports. So usually in that order. And that's it. That's all I got. Any questions? Facebook fam, I got any questions? Anything. So, well, anyways, my parting word then is, while I'm in school here at UB, I do have some projects. This semester, I'm working on basic documentary. So I'm doing documentary work. I've already posted some of that on the Facebook page, and I believe the WordPress. I haven't done that yet, but I'm planning on it soon. But I do plan to interview somebody, and I'm going to have a meeting today, but in about a half an hour. And if that meeting goes well, it's going to be a great interview. and I hope you guys tune in, because this could be very basic, or it could get real deep. It really depends on my guest. So, but we have so much more going on. This weekend, I got a film competition I'm entered into, and we have a team here in Buffalo. We're going to put this film together. And if anybody is interested in being a part of this thing called the 4 Points Film Project, it's something that they do every year. It's part of the 48 Hour Film Project. It's worldwide. There's 150 plus cities that are involved in this competition every year. And then there's the online version, which is what they call a 4 Points. And let me just Google it here. So I got it up here on the screen for the YouTubers. There it is. Okay. Film competition is basically, they give you a line. I'll read it right off the website here. They give you they give you the prop that you have to use, a line that you have to use in it. They give you a character name. They give you a male or female version of it, and they give you the character's occupation in it. Now, and they say you don't have to make that character the star of it, but the point is to have it in there and make it, obvious. So, 4 Points Film Project, and I believe that's 48, it's like the numbers, 48hourfilm.com / the number 4 PFP. If you go to that, you'll see this is the details of what this is about. I formed a team, and I'm hoping that anybody is interested in being a part of this film project with me. We got a lot of people that want to jump on board as actors, and that's great. But we also need people that want to help in the crew side of things. So I'm talking about a person that helps with the sound, people who helps with cameras, and people that are writers, people that are assistant directors. This is all the things we're going to be doing. So we need people to support that as well, not just the actors. And we do have a great pool of actors that are interested in being a part of it. So we're not going to have any problems there. But we do need some help with the crew side. And it might be some of the actors have to be fill in that role if that's the way it works out. So anyways, I got this glass glare. I know I got these kind of glasses. I have to wear these glasses now. I'm getting to the age where if I don't wear glasses, everything's blurry and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, what's going on? Where do I go? So, okay, there I am. That's what I got to do. I got to wear glasses. And these are nice because they're durable. Because I break every pair of reading glasses I buy at the dollar store. So I went to Home Depot, and these are like working flex glasses. These are awesome. Haven't broken them yet. So it's like I don't know how it's real flexible plastic material, I guess. So glass glare it is at this point. All right, so without any further ado, we'll get back to you on, I'm going to try to do this maybe every Monday morning at the very least. And if you guys are interested in being a part of the program while I'm doing this, log on to my Facebook page. Sorry, Facebook. Log on to the Facebook page, ShawnPGreene.wordpress.com. You can find all my contacts. Go to the Facebook page, Shawn Patrick Greene. And right now I'm on YouTube Live. I'm going to stay on YouTube Live for a little bit longer because I'm going to discuss a couple other things. So just keep it locked. You can find my link to the YouTube as well on my WordPress, ShawnPGreene.wordpress.com. Keep it locked, everybody. Thank you, Facebook.